Hello everybody, welcome back to another reading. Today we're taking a look at the case of 7-year-old Jair Soares, who disappeared early August 1995 when he went to the beach with his parents, his younger brother, and a neighbor and her daughter. Now the kids initially played in the surf on the beach under the watchful eye of the adults, and the water was kind of cold, so they didn't really go into the water, just kind of ran around a little bit to get their feet wet, play around, as you know kids like to do. Sometime later, they decided they wanted to get some snacks, so they went to a snack bar that was basically an establishment on the edge of the beach, and they went there all except for the neighbor, who stayed on the beach towels to guard all their things, because otherwise they'd have to pack up and move, and that would probably mean that they would lose their spot. So she stayed behind, and the 3 children and the 2 other adults went to this place to get some snacks, some fried goods, and some fries. Now Jair and the neighbor girl were first to finish their snacks, and they went outside to play. And sometime later, his parents returned to the neighbor who was still with the beach towels, and they saw the neighbor's daughter was there, but Jair was nowhere to be found. And of course the neighbor thought that Jair was going to be with his parents, and his parents thought that he had run off and was probably there with her. But he was with neither groups, so from that point on they went looking for him. The police was contacted, there was a search of the area. They couldn't find him. It's been on TV, and I believe there was even a more recent episode from about 6 or 7 years ago, I want to say, where they put the case back on TV to see if anybody knew anything from that day or had any type of clue to contact them. But as far as I'm aware, to this day, the case has not been solved. And that is why we're going to look at the case with the tarot, and we're going to start off with the Botticelli deck, which is currently on the table. And for any further questions, we're moving on to the Tarot Mucho deck, which is this one. Now, as per usual, I'm just going to start shuffling the deck. As soon as I have about a table full of cards, we're going to stop and take a look. So without much further ado, let's get started. Okay, let's take a look what we've got here. We're starting off with the 8 of Cups, followed by the Queen of Cups and the Hierophant in reverse. Alright, so this kind of sounds to me like the moment where they decide to run off by themselves against, or at least without, supervision, because the Hierophant's in reverse, so whoever would be there to tell them no, not to do certain things, not to go certain places, is not there. We have the 8 of Cups that we start off with, which is literally walking away from situation, and the Queen of Cups, somebody whom is fairly good with their emotions, maybe somebody whom had an emotional effect on Jair as well. Could be that this is just a situation of him running away with the neighbor's girl, which I believe was also described as his girlfriend, so they're pretty close, and those 2 decided that they wanted to go do something else together without the watchful eye of the authorities, so to speak. So I think this is the moment where they go and run off after they were done with their snacks. Then we have the wheel turning over there. The whole new opportunity, a whole new adventure perhaps awaits. We have the 8 of Swords, so they're kind of stuck in a thought pattern of their own. And the King of Wands, somebody who is very actionable and may have had some willfulness. I see this as them making up their own game because of the Eight of Swords, like being stuck in their own mindset, maybe trapped in a certain mindset, and this King of Wands determining what's going to happen next. So this kind of strikes me as they went off, wanted to play together, and then they were like, oh, let's go do this thing, and they end up in a little bit of a bubble of their own, like a little imaginary world that they were perhaps in. Perhaps they were suddenly, I don't know, playing out a certain role, and this King of Wands, I think, is Jair deciding what they were going to do next. Perhaps he saw something that he thought was very interesting and decided to go for that next. So we are currently playing a very specific game that I imagine only those two would have understood because it was their game at that time. Ace of Pentacles, there is a new potential win to be had here. Maybe something that they could have gained, something that they possibly thought they could have, maybe something offered. The Nine of Swords, we're not worrying about it. Normally the Nine of Swords is like an anxiety thing, and sometimes when it's in reverse I do see it as an anxiety that has been there for some time. But I think that there was no such thing with him. He sounded like a fairly carefree 7-year-old, so I don't think that that's it. I think it's just more of not worrying about certain things, possibly also convincing themselves that it was okay, or perhaps somebody else convincing them that it was okay, this new opportunity. We have the Two of Cups, so we are definitely signing up for somebody's thought pattern here, possibly somebody convincing them about, I don't know, a plan that they have, or just trying to make friends with them. Maybe they ran into somebody whom they thought was interesting and whom tried to be interesting to them. Possibly also telling them not to worry because of this Nine of Swords as well, and offering a new opportunity. So this could be they see something and they find it interesting and they're not going to worry about it, and perhaps this is Jair convincing his friend that they should go ahead and do that, or this is somebody that they've encountered also offering them some new opportunity and then telling them not to worry about it and everything's going to be fine and I'm just a friend, or maybe they know somebody who knows somebody who knows them, that type of thing, like trying to be familiar with them. Then we have the Five of Swords. Okay, so that's like a verbal struggle, potentially. Maybe this is an internal struggle with Jair, possibly finding that maybe there are some problems here that they were not initially expecting. We have the Knight of Cups, somebody who's only really interested in their own emotions, quite possibly not focusing on anybody else, could be only focusing on their own needs. We have an extra card here at the bottom, so I'm going to grab all 4 of these. In any case, this is the Justice card. It's in reverse, so things are being done that they do not agree with and are not just toward them. And then we have the Ten of Wands, which is a card of exhaustion after having had to do a lot for an extended period of time. Like basically this is you plopping down on the couch after an extra long shift at work, that type of thing, or just an extended period of having to do things that you find very challenging or very energetically draining. Could be that we are now seeing the true face of whomever talked to Jair in the first place, and they are only really focused on themselves, doing things that are not something that Jair would want, and ultimately do take their energetic toll on him. So it's like being exhausted, possibly being forced to walk a long distance, maybe something along those lines. They were at a beach resort, so perhaps if this is somebody whom was like, hey, why don't we go to this other place, it's actually pretty close by, got them to walk with them to some other nearby place. I believe there was actually an area nearby where there were houses. Perhaps they were asked to walk along to that place or something along those lines. Like he's pretty exhausted, and it looks as though whomever this is was not doing them any justice and only really focusing on themselves. So up to this point, it could have been that he found something interesting to do, and perhaps it wasn't quite the best thing to do, but since they were in their own little world here, it seemed like a good idea at the time. But now we're starting to see that maybe things were being done that they did not agree with. Perhaps by this Knight of Cups. All right, let's see. We are currently, I guess, alone with this person. I don't see anything about the neighbor girl. I'm not sure where we lost her. Perhaps when this new opportunity arrived. Like, I can imagine this being them deciding to play hide and seek, and he's hidden so well that she doesn't see when he's approached by somebody with this offer, and then they disappear, something along those lines. Who knows? It doesn't quite say that very carefully, but up on this part over here, it does look like it's still the two of them, and then we have this switch right here into somebody else's territory. It kind of looks like that's what's maybe going on. But let's see what else we can find. Moving on to the Taramucha deck. First card we have here is the 10 of Pentacles in reverse. So this is a card of not getting what you expected to get. Normally I would say this would be an inheritance or something you expected to have in the future, something that you kind of banked on, possibly quite literally. And this may be that things that he thought were going to be in the future now definitely were not. And that could also just be, I don't have the people around me that I want or that I need, and I expected them to be there, but it looks like we're not going to be seeing them, at least not for the foreseeable future. So that could be indicated here. Oh, there's a card on the floor. Hang on. We have here, this is the Emperor. So somebody is now lording over them, and I think that is a connection to the 10 of Pentacles that we just saw was in reverse, and that we could have seen as somebody being missed, or the people that you thought would be around you being missed. And now we have this Emperor here who is now going to determine what's going to happen next, and literally lording over them. Like, they are now the single point of authority, and anything that is going to happen is going to come from them. Basically, their single focus is now on this person, it looks as though. We have a single-mindedness with the 2 of Swords that fell off screen and in reverse. So could be also noticing that we are in the darkness here. There is a moon up there. Normally the moon card is for hiding things, secrets, that type of thing. It could be that this is a card of a person who is unwilling to change their mind on something that is quite secretive. I'm sure if you stop to think about small children being abducted, that you know what a lot of these abductors tend to have in mind, so I'm not going to go too deeply into that. It's also not important for this case to be too specific about it, but you know what I mean. What else can we find here? The 2 of Cups. Okay, again, now we are being asked to cooperate, or Jair is in any case, and I think that even though their intentions are not good, they are still trying to keep them calm by basically pretending that it's a good thing, or that it's okay, that it's perfectly normal. I imagine this also being a conversation where they say, oh, it's fine, I know your dad, I'm gonna give him a call and let him know where you are, it's gonna be okay, and that's to like soothe Jair possibly out of panicking and just going along with it. Okay, and then we have a Tower moment over here. It's in reverse, so possibly something that was not quite unexpected, but of course hit anyway. Oh, we have quite a few cards here actually. So something, I almost want to say catastrophic happening, at least a very big change happening, but it's not unexpected. So it's not like it was completely out of the blue, but it doesn't take away the fact that it is quite damaging and life-changing. We have here the Knight of Wands in reverse. You can see that it's charging away from a volcano that's erupting in the background, or at least about to erupt. So this is somebody who is acting very quickly, very rashly. Also noticing that this horse here, I had to remove a spider there for a second. Anyway, so this horse here, in addition to being very pale, also has white eyes. I don't know if you guys can see that, but they're very blank eyes. So it's kind of like on a pale horse he doth ride, if you know that biblical line. So I feel like this is potentially a very quick and hurried end. Underneath that, we see the Seven of Wands, which is definitely somebody coming for the position. It could be, I feel like this card is representing whomever this perpetrator is, feeling like somebody would have found them out if they didn't act quickly. Like maybe somebody was about to head into the door, or somebody was at the door, and they were like, oh no, I need to get rid of this person, this kid, because they can't be seen with me, and I need to be able to keep up my front of being a normal and decent, respectable person. Three of Swords in reverse. So normally Three of Swords is a crowd. I think this is possibly whomever may have interrupted them. I feel like they are connected to this perpetrator, because this almost reads like they were doing things and then suddenly somebody showed up, possibly to disturb them. And this may have been somebody who was already like in an adult relationship with this perpetrator, or was somehow connected to them and would not stick with them, possibly if they found out about what it is that they've been up to. Like avoiding heartbreak almost by taking these actions here. So I feel like this was a very quick thing that happened here. Like they managed to get Jair under their control, and then after a short while there was like, oh no, somebody's at the door, or somebody's about to come home, or I see somebody's car pulling into the driveway and I need to do something fast in order to avoid further trouble, almost like that. And that could also point toward that tower being reversed. Like they knew that this person was going to come home, and still they managed to do that. But okay, and then finally the moment is here, and now I need to take care of business because otherwise I'm going to be in trouble. Here we go. We have the Chariots moving very quickly, and then suddenly the sun is out. So I feel like this is somebody just pretending everything's fine. Like very quickly, it's almost like one of those sketches you see on TV, like there's something terrible going on or something disastrous, and then somebody's at the door and they quickly throw a couple of things into a closet or into a chest of drawers somewhere, and then they're just like, oh, everything's fine, how are you, la la la, that type of thing. Like that type of energy is what I'm getting from this most recent set of cards. Just putting on a show in order to pretend everything is fine. So I think at this point, Jair is either hidden somewhere. Not sure if he is still with us at this point. Possibly not. We see the Star card here, which I often see also in these cases as somebody getting a lot of attention. I think this is the part where they turn on the TV and they see the reports of the missing boy, and people are being asked to be on the lookout, and this is what he looks like, and maybe you've seen him, make sure to give us a call. So there's suddenly a lot of lights being shown on this case, and possibly they were not expecting this attention so quickly. So this is almost like, oh no, they're on to me. Maybe they are starting to panic about possibly people having seen them walking together, that type of stuff. Okay, that one next. Flew out. This is the Queen of Pentacles in reverse, so we are now trying to take care of business in a way that seems practical but is still not quite right. I think this is the process of making sure to get rid of any evidence in ways that they probably think are smart. And to be fair, we haven't found anything of Jair, so in that sense they succeeded in that. But I do feel like there's probably some sloppiness here. Like they may have been very quick to act in order to clean their own slate, and they may have dropped a few stitches, but sadly those stitches have not been picked up over the years yet. Let's see if we can get anything more on this, and then we'll move on to if we're ever going to find anything. But first I want to see if there's anything more from this time situation that we need to know. That one. And the Six of Wands. All right. So it's kind of like the Sun card over here. Same thing is happening. They're just taking care of their business over here with the Queen of Pentacles, even though it is in reverse. And now we're just like playing the good guy, the hero, whatever social standing that they tend to have within their community. They're probably well liked and they're just out there. I almost feel like this person suddenly tried to become even more of a local pillar of the community, possibly even joining in searches. You see that quite often, like suddenly they're all over the place doing charity work, almost like trying to buy off their guilt somehow. Maybe for their own sense of calm and inner peace, I don't know, but also possibly to just make people feel like they are a good person and therefore should not be suspected of anything, kind of like that. So are we gonna see anything of Jair? It's been 28 years now since he's gone missing. Are we ever gonna find anything of him or find out who did it? Okay, there's quite a few cards actually. There's 5 on the table and then a couple more fell on my lap. We'll get to them in a moment. First of all, who do we have here? Put the star back. And this one too. All right, we have the Two of Pentacles. All right, so we are definitely trying to balance things. Interesting thing that I'm just noticing is that these 3 guys are actually from a painting. I hadn't seen that before, but there is a painting which they say is, I think, Mars and Venus reclining, and then you see these three little cherubs over there taking Mars's battle gear and just running off with the things, or playing with the things, even though Mars probably would not approve if he were awake. But since he's asleep, let sleeping dogs lie, and then we just do whatever we want. So it's kind of like this Two of Pentacles thing is them balancing things in a way that would avoid suspicion. So I feel like they are being very careful with their actions, with their words, with whatever activity they are undertaking. I see this also as just them being very careful at work, what to say, what to do, possibly also what they were looking up online, because in '95 the internet was just about to make its grand appearance in most people's homes, so they also probably avoided using that for other things that might implicate them. We have here the Four of Wands in reverse. There is no harmony though, so even though they're being very careful, their personal life and I guess the harmony around them is falling apart, literally, because the Tower is right here. I feel like if they were married or had some type of serious relationship, they probably ended up breaking up because they had the Tower here, or something terrible happened in any case that kind of led them to a big event in their life. Then we have the Five of Wands, and this is a card of struggling. The character on the table appears to be either making some type of soup, but the way that everything is arranged on the table, where this almost looks like a mortar and pestle, I feel like maybe they're fighting some type of illness or something. Like, it could be that they were being very careful mentally and they were very careful spending their resources, stuff like that, but then things just go very much sour, and then we find that actually there's some type of disease going on inside of them, and this is still the perpetrator for those who are still confused, having some type of physical illness perhaps. And then we have here the sun going down. This is the sun in reverse, so possibly whatever light they thought was still going to be in their life is now fading. So I feel like maybe they got like a cancer diagnosis or something, and this is kind of like them trying to figure out if they can fix it somehow. Like, some people will go to alternative medicine in order to fight it, but I don't think that worked because the sun is in reverse. Then we have here the Six of Swords in reverse. Yeah, unwilling to let the river take you where it may. So I feel like this is definitely them not wanting to let it go, not even thinking about how this could go south, but possibly having to realize, of course, eventually that that is the only way they can go. We have the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. Yep, spending our resources incorrectly, possibly going for all sorts of weird treatments to try and fight whatever this may have been. The Chariot in reverse. Interesting that we're about to put the Chariot on top of this Chariot over here, but we're rushing in the wrong direction. So they're definitely having a phase here of not being able to change something, even though they're trying, and they're in denial that they can't change what's happening to them. We have here the Seven of Cups in reverse, so there's nothing left to wish for. So far it reads as though the perpetrator may not even be with us anymore because of this thing that happened in their own life. Like, careful as they may have been, possibly they got revenge in some other way that we're just not publicly aware of. That's kind of what it's starting to read like. Okay, nothing much coming up anymore with the Botticelli deck. So I think at this point the perpetrator may have ended up deceased, because this angel thing also kind of points towards this person doesn't really like the angel appearing, but it's there and there's nothing much they can do about it, because what are you going to do against some type of angelic being? If it's coming to collect you, you're going, because that's all the choices you have. So it kind of like looks like he may have, I'm saying he, could have been a she, may have ultimately deceased, but are we going to find anything of Jair after all this time? Any type of physical evidence? Anybody coming forward with information to help crack the case? Okay, we have, I think this is the Page of Swords, but it's on its side. This just seems as idle banter to me on its side like this, because the Page of Swords normally is somebody who is chasing the clouds and without much of a plan. And this seems more like shooting the breeze, a type of situation where they're just kind of like talking idly. So maybe something will come up in idle conversation that might spark somebody's interest. It's also a very unusually calm Page of Swords. Like I said, normally they're chasing clouds, but in this case they're just kind of staring off into the distance. Everything is it's a huge mess. Now normally my readings are a bit of a mess because I keep putting layers upon layers, but this time it's even worse. Alright, let's put everything back kind of the way it was. We have these guys that are new. These guys were over here. And then that one, and then that one. There we go. Okay, so what do we have here? The Strength is failing. And we have the Two of Pentacles, also misspent energy. We have somebody intuiting something with the High Priestess. Nine of Swords, anxiety, and then the Knight of Swords in reverse. Okay, so this kind of seems like somebody may encounter something in a conversation, and I'm feeling this may be somebody who knew the perpetrator, and they're kind of losing their strength. Like maybe this is them previously having just kind of held off any thoughts of, oh, maybe there was something wrong with this person. Like imagine you were married to somebody for a long time, they ended up getting sick, because we kind of saw that with this row over here. So you've been through with them through the entire process, through sickness and health, to death to his parts type of thing. You've seen the whole sickness taking them eventually to their grave, and you've kind of like placed this person in a little box in your mind, like, oh, there can't be anything wrong with them because of all the suffering they went through. So I see this maybe as them trying to hold off any thoughts of maybe there was something else to this person that they weren't saying. But the Strength is waiting. As you can see, Strength is in reverse. And then the next card we have here is the Two of Pentacles. So we have the Two of Pentacles in reverse, kind of also incorrectly spending things, and possibly also uncovering certain things. Like we saw the Two of Pentacles with the perpetrator earlier, trying to be very careful, the balancing act of trying to avoid any type of suspicion. So maybe they're now starting to uncover things and looking at the way that this person acted and spoke, and kind of removing the veil a little bit, which is also something that the High Priestess tends to do. She can see past the veil, she can intuit things. So possibly this person who may have been very close to the perpetrator is now starting to see things, starting to connect the dots, so to speak. And it's not really a very positive process. Obviously, we have the Nine of Swords here. This person is very much worried about it. They have sleepless nights, possibly churning sensation in their stomach, like, oh my god, what if they were connected to this? What may they have done? Was it them? I saw a few things, and maybe that was this, that, or the other, but I don't feel like they know the details. Like, they may just suspect that this person has done terrible things, but they're not quite sure what. And we have here the Knight of Swords in reverse. They may be running down all sorts of potential thoughts, like trains in their mind, like running down all sorts of paths, like what if it was this person, what if it was that person. They may be connecting them to cases that weren't actually connected to the perpetrator, but maybe just like trying to find something to hold on to, some type of proof maybe, but they're not very clear on what it is that they're looking for exactly. Okay, so the card that we have here is the Eight of Wands on its side. I feel like this is them possibly trying to find stuff online, because the Eight of Wands is also communication. These things can point towards online communication, and I feel like this is much later after the fact, so I feel like they may be trying to Google things with their name, possibly trying to find some type of connection, maybe doing searches of missing people in such and such area and such date, or something along those lines. Just trying to find cases that may be connected. So I feel like they are trying to put the pieces together, but they don't really have all the pieces to put together. And I'm not sure if they're ever going to find anything of Jair or be able to connect them. It may just be a suspicion that is currently in the back of their mind. There may be a lot of different cases that they might suspect this person of being involved in, and Jair might be one of them, but they won't have any direct proof, I feel, to make that final connection. And therefore they probably won't want to reach out either, because it's on its side. The Eight of Wands. It's kind of like you feel like you need to tell somebody something, but you're not sure what, and you're not sure who to tell. So they're kind of stuck in that situation, it looks as though. Okay, what do we have here? Yeah, we're making plans. They're just planning things, but I don't think they're going to actually find anything ultimately, because they're just too lost. They're looking out across this ocean, just wondering where to go next, and I feel like they're just directionless, as well-intentioned as they might be. I don't think that they're going to go make that final connection and be able to find that link that connects him to Jair. So if somebody who is from the area is watching this and was with someone, knew someone, doesn't have to be a spouse, could also have been a brother or a sister or an uncle, and you have certain suspicions, it may be worth trying to contact authorities anyway, just to see if anything about them lines up with anything that the law enforcement agencies might already have on file, because they always have somebody to like profile a suspect or something along those lines. Maybe not every case gets something like that, but they do have some idea of whom they might be looking for, what type of person they might be looking for, and maybe some of that lines up with this person that you're thinking of. And even if it's not Jair that they may have harmed, maybe they harmed somebody else, and you might be helping out some other family by contacting the law authorities anyway. But as the cards are currently, I don't think they're going to figure it out on their own. So far, they've been trying to work things out on their own. Probably also because it's a very private matter. You don't want to sully somebody's memory in front of their family or friends if you're not sure about something like this. Because, of course, it's a very serious accusation to make. If you don't have any evidence, you're not going to go ahead and release this type of suspicion. I see this person as somebody who has that type of suspicion and doesn't want to spread false rumors, but isn't going to get anywhere on their own. So I think maybe if they reached out, they might be able to work something out with law enforcement. And in any case, it's always worth a try, But that is what I'm seeing for the case of Jair Soares. I hope you found that interesting. Make sure to leave a comment and a like in the comment section below. If you have any cases that you would like me to do a reading on, make sure to go to the description below the video, because there is a link to an anonymous Google form where you can put in your information on the case, leave any extra details if you have them. It's not required, but then at least I know what cases you guys want me to do a reading on. In any case, thanks for watching. I hope to see you in another video, and bye bye for now.